Alrighty guys, so for our final part of this series on creating some GaryVee type content, I'm going to add a simple transition overlay, whatever you want to call it, with a call to action to all the platforms that this podcast can be listened or watched at. So let's get started. Oh, also a little bonus thing. So since we already know full length of the podcast is going to be this right here, just go all the way to the end, hold shift so it locks at the end, right? And you see this time right here, 1 minute and 11 seconds. We want to make sure our whole video is that length, because right now if I render it, it's going to render the 2-hour podcast, and we don't want that. We only want a 1 minute clip. So then go over to composition, and then don't hit new composition, but hit composition settings. It's going to bring up the settings to this IG post. So what we're going to do is just change the time. So right now we're at 2 hours. Make that 0. And then right here is the minutes. Then it's at 01, 1 minute, 27 seconds. It's at 11 seconds. And I'm just looking over here, down here. And then to those, I'm not sure what they call milliseconds. So enter, okay. And then now we're here. Cool. Actually, I messed up because we have to add that overlay I was talking about. So go back to composition settings. And then we're gonna just make this a little bit longer. Just add some, like, I don't know, 40. Just make it longer so you have space. That was my bad, guys. Sorry for making this confusing, but make sure you leave enough space because we're gonna add an overlay and it's still gonna continue the video, the runtime. All right, cool. So now we're gonna add this overlay, right? An overlay is gonna have some call to action. So we're gonna create another shape. So we're gonna put layer, new, and then shape. By default, it's a square. I like to zoom out. I'm going to create a rectangle the size of this frame, but just above it, so it's not in the way, like that. And then this is saying that there's a square here. We can't see it because it's outside of our frame. And just as a habitual thing, just center it. And then we want this. Right now it's telling us that the square is this color, gray. Click on that, get the dropper, and then hover over the green, just so that way we have the same color green. And if we zoom back in, you could go over here and just put fit up to 100%. You can't see the box we just created, right? So what I want to do with this is drag the box down with, to cover up this image so we could have a call to action. So we play right now. Okay, so right here is a good time. So towards the end, I want this box to come down. So we're going to rename this. Right now it's a shape layer. We're going to rename it. Something we've learned along the way, and just put overlay. Remind ourselves. Okay, so around this time, I'm going to zoom in. It's always good to zoom in, okay? I'm going to hit transform on this overlay. It's obviously above our frame, so we don't see it. Hit position. That's going to be our starting position. Hit this little stopwatch, okay? It creates that time frame, okay? Or it's called the keyframe, but hit the stopwatch first so we can start it. And then you're going to drag it around right there, okay? And then hit this. Remember, this is how you create a new keyframe. Hit that and just make sure you're hovering over that, and then switch the position. Switch, so we want it to cover the thing. So we're going to go to the y-axis and drag it to the right, which drags it down. See how it's coming down? Boom. So drag it till everything's covered. Perfect. Now we play it and we go back. This is what happens. Look at what happens when the time indicator goes over these. So there we go. So it's kind of slow. So the way to speed it up is just to bring them closer together. I like to bring it this way. And just play around with this. This is a preference. Okay, still kind of slow. Okay, this is another an advanced tip here. So what you're going to do is highlight these two time frames. Right click. Go down to Keyframe Assistant and Easy Ease. Now they change. It changes to these weird looking shapes, if you will. They're no longer diamonds. But what this does, it makes it a lot easier. It's not as choppy. So watch. See how smooth that was? There we go. And an extra step. This is a pro tip, okay? Not so. I mean, if you're watching this in your beginning, this is definitely a pro tip. But hover again, and don't get intimidated by this. This is going to be very simple. Hit this right here. It's a graph editor. Make sure you're on speed graph. Let's see. So edit speed graph. Make sure this one's checked, okay? So put your time indicator here. Just drag in, just zoom in, sorry. And then grab this right side. I like to do these because it comes in a little smoother. And then just, right now nothing's clicked. Click this little box on the right, and you get these two yellow things. This right here drags this one. So we're going to only play with the right side. So drag this in like that. So it's gonna go slow and then fast. So it's gonna be still smooth. So it's gonna come down like it. It's gonna come down slow, and then it's gonna ramp down super nice. So we go this way. It's gonna be a subtle change, and push play. There we go. So it's nice and smooth. Okay, now our overlay's there. Cool. Now for this one, we're gonna add the client's logo. So drag this in. I have it over here on my left side, the project one, and then we're gonna enlarge it. Drop down menu, transform, scale it up, and center it. And then I'm gonna move it up position wise. I'm gonna move it up like right there. Scale it up a little bit more. Big. There we go. Okay. Now we're gonna add the call to action. Is you could put watch or listen on, and then make sure your text is aligned, paragraph is aligned to the center, and then align the whole text into the middle. So we're going to drag this up. There we go. And then I'm going to create another one, another text that says on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. Align it to the center. It's already paragraph aligned. And this one's going to be, instead of Gilroy Light, it's going to be Gilroy Extra Bold. And then we're going to increase the font on it. There we go. Center it. And then we're going to move it up a little. So transform. There we go. Okay, cool. So what's going to happen right now, though, here's the thing. Here's the issue with this. So now, cool, we have our logo. We have our text, right? But we haven't done anything with it. So it's going to show. It's like, oh, what the heck? It's in the way. So what we want to do for now is, okay, so get your text, your YouTube, watch or listen on, and then your logo. So what you can do to select all these is just hold shift and then click all of them, and it'll highlight all of them. Hit drop down menu, and don't hit the stopwatch on this just yet. Just set the opacity to 0. So then they're out of your way. So we want to make sure that text and those logos appear once the overlay has completed. So right here is not done yet, right here, and then around right here towards the end, okay? So now, since we have just the overlay now, this is where we want to put that stuff. Go ahead and hover over YouTube, Apple, and then your two texts, and then hold shift and hit the logo right there, so it selects all of them. Hit the drop down menu. Now you could hit this stopwatch. So this is starting. That means something's gonna happen. Just drag over to the right a little bit, and just place it there, and then you could hit this time frame. And the cool thing is, since we're highlighting all of them, is doing it for all of them. So then we knock out 3 birds with 1 stone. And then hit the opacity on this time frame, the second one, to 100. Now when we play it, we solve the issue. It's not in our face throughout the whole piece of content. But now look at what happens. The overlay is going to come in, and then we do the opacity on that. Sweet. So yeah, there you guys have it, guys. That's how you do a little overlay and a call to action. I hope you guys like this little series. I'm gonna go ahead and keep creating these. If there's any suggestions or anything I want to try something cool too, is if you guys see this, send me anything like GaryVee creates or any other content that you see on Instagram or whatever. And I kind of like to look at things and just try to do it myself, not knowing what exactly they did, but to make it super similar and things like that. But thank you for joining me, guys. Don't forget to follow me, subscribe, give it a like, share it with a friend who's maybe trying to learn some graphic design. But thank you guys for spending some time with me and getting to know me a little bit more and learning how to do this stuff. So we'll see you on the next one.